Welcome to Create Flutter. In today's tutorial, I am going to talk about recursive function in Flutter. So this tutorial consists of very concise example of recursive function. So do keep in mind that the code is very simplified for this tutorial. I had never had the opportunity to use a recursive function until recently, so I wanted to share how you can use it in your projects. So the code that I'm going to execute for this tutorial is going to be a very simple scenario. The scenario is that user goes to a news page to write a review. He submits a review and the page is popped up. And when the page is popped, a snack bar shows with the message that your review has been submitted, and it gives an option to modify it. And when user click on the modify review page with data is shown. This scenario gets repeated when the user click modify, hence becoming a recursive function. So I have already created a project here. So in this tutorial I'm going to create two screens. One is going to be home screen with the button in the center that will say write a review. So when user click on that button, it navigate to a new screen which is going to be a review screen. On that screen I am going to create a text field and a button. User write a review in the text field, and when he clicks on the button, so the review is submitted and the screen is popped, and a snack bar shows with the message that your review has been submitted, and there would be a modify option as well. So when user click on that modify option, he navigate back to review screen with the message that he already written in the review text field. So I'm going to create two files here. One is going to be a home screen, so let's name it home. The other one is going to be review screen. Let's give it name review, and home screen is going to be a stateless. So give it a name home screen. I'm going to wrap it in scaffold widget. We don't need a tab bar here, so I'll write a code in body. In body we are just going to show a button in the center of screen. So just because we are going to show two buttons in this project, one is going to show on the home screen, the other one will show on the review screen. So I'm going to create a common widget here so we can use the same widget on both screens. So let's create a new file for common widget. It is going to be custom button. Okay, so let's make it stateless. We'll give it a name custom button. It is going to get two parameters. One is going to be text of the button. The other one is going to be on press method. So let's make it a void type. Let's make the function void type, and I'm going to give this function a parameter name by onPressed. Okay, so now we are going to define those here. We'll make these parameters of type required. Okay, so same goes for onPressed. Let's add dependency here. Let's add material. Okay, so this is going to be a container. Okay, so let's give it a decoration, box decoration. Okay, we'll give some radius here. We'll give a circular radius. So let's give it a 5. Okay, so the other property we are going to give it is going to be the color of the button. So let's give it a color, let's give it a blue. Okay, so other than that, let's define a child here. We will make it equal. Okay, okay, so this splash color we will give is going to be of gray with opacity of 0.5. Okay, so the border radius we are going it circular of 5.0. So I'll give on tab here. On tab is going to be the parameter that will provide to this widget, and then we are going to define the child here. Child is going to be a text widget. So in text widget we are going to give this parameter, which will be the button name here. Let's give it a style here. Let's give a style to text inside the button. Okay, we are going to give a color white. The font size we are going to give 15.0, and the font weight is going to be 500 here. Alright, so that's it. We are going to wrap this inkwell in material widget. Okay, so we are going to border radius of circular 5.0. The color of material is going to be transparent. Okay, so we have error here where we are going to red line. Okay, we are going to return this widget. Okay, so the custom button is created here, so let's give it. So we are, first of all, we have to add the dependency here. We are going to give two properties to this button. One is going to be text. The text will show write review. Okay, the other one is going to be on pressed here. So right now I'll just give it nothing. We will work on this on press later. So the home screen is ready. Let's call it in the material app. Okay, so let's add a dependency. Okay, we import this screen here. Let's remove the default code. Okay, so next we are going to work on the review screen. This is going to be stateful. Let's call it review screen. Okay, so what this review screen is going to do, this is going to accept a parameter. The parameter would be the value of the review, so that once user click on the modify, it gets the old value that user has already put in that. Okay, so let's the review going to be of type string, so let's call it review here. Okay, let's add a parameter here, review. Okay, so this is going to be a required. All right, perfect. So so instead of placeholder, we are we are going to add a scaffold widget here, because we have to add app bar. Let's add a app bar. Let's give it a title that will say write a review. Okay, we want to show it in center. All right, so let's the app bar is complete. Let's create a body here. So in body we are going to create a column, because we have to add multiple widgets. One is going to be text field, the other one is going to be a button here. So let's add text field first. Okay, I want the width of this text field of 300 pixel. The 300 radius, and the value of height is going to be double value of 50. So I am going to give a little space from bottom to this text field. So let's give it a margin, edge inserts dot only bottom. Let's give it 20. Okay, so now I'm going to add a text field here. So let's add a text field. So I'm going to create a controller here. We did not actually create a controller, so let's create a controller first. So it is going to be a text editing controller. Okay, so it's going to be by name controller. Let's create it private. Okay, the controller is created, so I am going to provide here, this is going to be a controller. Let's give it some decoration here. So I'm going to give some input decoration. Let's give radius to content here, the content that will show in the text field. So let's give it some padding. I'll give padding from all sides, so let's give it a symmetric. Okay, the vertical is going to be 5 pixel and the horizontal going to be 10 pixel. Okay, so next let's hide it here. Let's hide the emulator here. Okay, so the other property is going to be constraints. Let's give it a box constraint here. Let's not give any value here. So I want border should be the outline border, so that it show border on all sides. So let's give it a border name outline input border, outline input border. Oh, it was right. Okay, perfect. So the text field is complete. Okay, so let's add another widget here, which is going to be a button. So as you remember, we have already created a custom button here, so we'll use the same. Let's custom button. Let's add a custom button here. So we are going to give two properties. One is going to be it is a string type, so give it a name submit. Let's keep on press empty right now. So that is completed. Let's give some, let's wrap it inside a size box here, size box, and I'm going to give some width here using the media query. So let's give it a full width here. Okay, so it will give the full width. So I want to show the text field and the button in center of this screen. So let's give some property to column here. I'll give cross axis alignment center, and also main axis alignment. Okay, so this is completed as well. Where is showing? Okay, all right, so we have to return it. So one more thing I am going to add is for example, if we click on the text field, a keyboard will appear from bottom. So to disappear it, I have to wrap it in a gesture detector here. Let's add it, and on tab we are going to give some focus. So let's add focus manager, focus manager dot instance. It's going to primary focus, and just make it on focus. Okay, so whenever I click on any part of the screen, so it will make it disappear it will disappear the keyboard. Okay, perfect. That is all right. So let's I'm going to use this inside the home screen. When I click on this on press button, it's going to navigate to review screen. So I'm going to create a recursive function here. So what will recursive function do? Recursive function basically is going to navigate me to review screen, but other than that, it is going to check if the value of the review is empty. Then it will end the on press callback there. Otherwise it will show a snack bar on this screen with the message that review has been submitted and you can modify it. So let's create a recursive function here. So I am going to let's create it private. All right, so I'm going to return it here. So to make it future type, I have to return it. All right, so let's create a recursive function now. So let's create it inside this onPress, because we are going to pass the context as well. We can create here as well, so we have to create it inside the build method. So there are two ways you can create in onPress, or you can create outside of this scaffold. So let's create it here. Let's give it a name, recursive. Okay, all right, so let's create it. So it is going to, I'm going to give an optional parameter that is going to give a value empty string by default, and it is going to be a future type. So also it is not going to return anything, so let's make it void. All right, okay, so let's make it void. Okay, so inside this let's make it sync, because we have already defined that it's going to wait. So in this we are going to navigate to review screen here. So whenever we click on this, we are going to push to review screen. So let's give material page route. Okay, the builder. All right, so the builder is going to be review screen. Let's give it a review, and we are going to give it a parameter here. We are going to pass this review to review screen, so we'll pass it like that. And so otherwise we are going to show empty string here. Let's end it. Okay, so what it's going to happen is when we pop from the review screen, we are going to return the value of that review. So let's create a variable here that is going to accept that value of review. So let's create it like that. So it's going to be, yes, like that. Okay, so inside this we'll add a check here. If the value of this review is empty, we are going to return here. Otherwise we are going to show a scaffold here. So what does that mean is if there is no value that we are going to receive here in the review, that means it is the first time that we have clicked on the right message, and and we have to return it. Otherwise we are going to show a scaffold here. So let's create a scaffold messenger dot of context. So we are going to show a snack bar here. Show snack bar. So alright, so we are going to add snack bar widget. We are going to provide a content which will say review submitted successfully. Okay, all right, so other than that I am going to give some style here. Let's give this snack bar some style. Okay, so let's give it a style, and let's give let's give font size 16 and okay, so and also I will add some duration here. So I want this snack bar to show for at least 5 seconds before it disappears, so let's give it 5 seconds here. And I'm going to add an action here. So what this action will do, will show a label of modify. So when user click on it, I'm going to perform a recursive function on this, and it will call this function again, and it will navigate us back to a review screen. So let's add a recursive function here. So let's add a action here, and the action is going to be snack bar action. And in snack bar action, I'm going to provide label. Label will be modify, and I'll give a property on press, and on press I am going to call a recursive function. Let's make it await. I'll call this recursive function here, and I'll pass a parameter with the value that we are getting here. So let's add a review. Okay, so we have to make it a sync type. Okay, perfect. So that is completed. All right, what we are, okay, let's, okay, this is complete now. So on the review screen, what we are going to do on tab, so what we are going to do is when user click on tab, we are going to pop from this screen. So let's context.pop. So in pop, we are not just popping, we are providing the value as well, that is that user added as a review. So let's trim it as well. Okay, so this is completed. So one more thing is, if we navigate from here, and if there is a value, if user click on modify and then we pass this value, so what we are going to do, we are going to set that value in the controller as well. So for doing this, we have to create two methods here. One is going to be on init method, init state method. Okay, so what we are going to do in init state is we are going to set the value of that parameter that we are getting in this widget to this controller. So we'll put a condition here: if there is a value, if this widget dot review is not empty, because by default we are sending nothing in this parameter, so this is going to be empty. So we'll put a condition: if there is a value, then we'll set it, otherwise we are not going to set it here. So controller dot text is going to be this dot widget dot review. Okay, perfect. All right, so that is done, and then I'm going to create one more method that is going to be a dispose method. Let's create it, and on dispose I am going to dispose this controller. Let's make this controller dispose. Let's dispose it. So when it is not in use, it should be disposed, so it not consume memory here. So I think it is ready. Let's run this app to see if it is working or not. All right. Okay, so the design is not showing in center, so let's fix this first. So what we are making a mistake here. Where is the home screen? All right, so we have to show it in the center. Let's wrap this widget with center widget. Okay, now it is showing in center. We need to give some padding here, so let's add some padding on this widget. Let's give it a padding, like let's give it a 10. Okay, it looks nice now. So once we click on it, it will navigate us to review screen. So here I put some message, nice product. Okay, I am going to submit it. So it is going to navigate me back to this. So when I click on modify, it opens this screen again, and it is showing the message as well. So let's give it some value here and submit it again. So this is again showing me this snack bar here. So this is how it makes it a recursive function. Okay, so hopefully that is clear to you guys, and in next tutorial I'm going to talk about callback. Okay, thank you for watching the video.